Hi there, everyone. Happy Thursday. Holy cow, I can't believe this is like our fourth Zoom call already. And I feel like every week we've got such great information to share and great topics. And we just want to keep supporting everybody on, of course, with a focus of health and wellness. I'm Joanne Mulhall, and I am up in Sechelt, BC, which is on the beautiful Sunshine Coast, and with my co-host Cheryl and Lori. And when they say hello, they'll say where they're where they're calling in from, all in our little spaces, our beautiful spaces. But we're just really happy with to share with you this topic that I know we're passionate about all topics to do with health and wellness and just being your best self. But this one at this time of year is particularly poignant because it's spring. And even though spring kind of arrived middle of March with the spring equinox, we don't really feel like it's spring until the weather starts to shift. And I know in Ottawa and Saskatoon and Calgary and all these different places, they've still had snow. Thank goodness on the West Coast, we haven't. Not for a long while anyway. So yes, the cherry blossoms are out, the flowers are out, and the weather is warming up. So I think now, middle of, once Easter, Passover, the holiday kind of big holiday kind of passes, people kind of, I think, do feel the days are getting longer. The temperature is starting to climb up, and spring is officially feeling like it's here. It doesn't have to do with the calendar date. So, we just really, this is our time when we feel that regeneration in the energy. We feel, that new push of revitalization. I certainly do, just because the days are longer and I'm waking up naturally. It's light at 6 a.m. So I'm waking up at 6 a.m. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily on bed at 6 a.m., but I'm waking up at 6 a.m. And so that just is giving me that new resurgence of like, winter's over. The long days and the dark days of winter are over. And our body feels that. The energy out there is palpable when we, especially if we're getting out like we should be every day. You've got to be outside. You've got to be walking through if you can. I know it's getting a little crazy out there with park closures and trail closures, and you can't go here, can't go there, but go where you can to be in nature, and reconnect with the ground and the trees and be in the sunshine or be near a babbling brook or whatever you've got in your area and feel that spring energy, because it's there and it's great, and we can tap into that and we can suck it up into our bodies. So another way that we revitalize is we spring clean our space, my big spring clean was carpet cleaning. It was so good to get it done. I don't want to tell you how dark the water was from the carpet, but man, it felt good to get it done. So it's deep cleaning, going through closets, getting stuff out, getting rid of stuff, lightening things, getting the cobwebs cleaned in your house. And I always use this analogy when I get onto the next subject of cleaning, which is our bodies. Because our bodies are our house. They're our house for our soul, and they're it's a rented vehicle for who we are in this particular lifetime. So we got to keep it in good shape. It's like your house or a car. We spend way more attention fixing and cleaning and maintaining our possessions that are outside of us, our things, than we do sometimes our most important vehicle, which is our body. So spring to me is about spring cleansing my body. I want to do that rejuvenation. I want to slough off the old stuff from winter. I want to, do that, like to use a car analogy. I want to do the oil change. I want to do the, engine tune up. I want to do the piston cleaning. I don't know, cars even have pistons anymore. I don't know. They're computers, right? So who knows? Just to, really do the computer tune up. Let's do that. Reboot the hard drive, as we can say with our phones and our computers. So the way that we do that is by, number one, our body is a beautiful amazing machine, and we have organs that are naturally detoxing everything that comes in. We have what are called detoxification pathways. So the main components of that are our lungs when we breathe, our skin when we sweat, our bowels when we defecate, our kidneys when we're excreting urine, and our liver, which is processing and processing and processing 24/7 everything that comes into our body. It's shifting it, water, it's re I'll just say recalculating it, or breaking it down and re-synergizing it into components that can be very easily excreted from the body, especially via the urine and the bowels. So we have these amazing, what are actually called detoxification organs. And there's sometimes this delineation between cleansing and detoxing. And a lot of the words are interchanged and used at the same time. I kind of look at it as detoxing is what our body normally does on its own 24/7. We have these detox organs and we have these detox pathways. And cleansing is something we do to assist that natural detoxification process. So I don't know if that resonates more with you to help understand it better. So that when we are assisting our body to do what it already does normally, that's a good thing. But here's the crux of why we might have issues. And Lisa went through this last week on our call last week. Unfortunately, she can't be with us today, but she did touch on this last week when we're talking about cleansing and how, there are just so many beautiful benefits of that, which we're going to touch on. But we talked about the symptoms that start to show up when our bodies aren't working well. We get headaches, we feel lethargy, we feel fatigue, and brain fog, aches and pains. These are all signs that our body could be what we call auto-intoxicated. And oftentimes our normal becomes that. And so we stop being able to read those signals properly. But those are typically very good signs. If you have things that are chronic in your world like that, that's a very good indication that your body needs that deeper cleansing. And so when we talk about how we're going to do that, we want to, we want to start eliminating what I call nutrient robbing foods and beverages in our life. That's a very simple way that we can assist our body's detoxification process. Sorry, I just missed my point. What I was trying to get at was that our systems can become overloaded. And when they become overloaded, then especially if our liver, for example, we eat too many fatty foods, or we maybe enjoy a little too much alcohol, which is kind of going on right now, or we've got things going on that are overtaxing our liver. Well, absolutely, we want to give that a break. But if our liver's suffering, then the other detox organs that our body has in place. Sorry, I think there's a little bit of background noise going on here. Busy house, and not really, but there's noise. We've got to give our other organs, we have to respect that they're picking up the slack from the job that our liver can't do. Our kidneys have to pick up the slack. Our skin has to pick up the slack. So if more than one of those are under functioning, then more that are functioning have to pick up even more slack. So, and you know what? I'm going to mute myself for a second, Lori, and I'm just going to ask you to jump in here, kind of continuing my train of thought, because I know you can. And I'm just going to see what the noise is going on behind me here. Okay.
Absolutely. And I'll introduce myself later, other than to just mention that one of the things Joanne and I love so much is that, as she said, we can just interchange, because with the holistic nutrition background of decades, because we're both that old, this is what we're the most passionate about. And the body is designed to be in perfect balance and harmony if we honor the body as it is meant to be, and listening to the body, not our taste buds and not what we hear outside, in terms of like, let's just grab the drive-through food because we're in a rush today. But really what the body needs is a proper sit-down meal with all the nutrients. Over time, the body wears out its ability to handle the overload. So what happens is you go along and you get these little knocks. Maybe you're fatigued, Maybe you get some headaches, maybe you have brain fog, maybe it's hard to focus and concentrate, maybe you get that pain in the back of your neck and shoulders, maybe you get all puffy and inflamed, maybe you have indigestion, maybe you have constipation, maybe you have crappy sleep. Those are all the body's initial knock-knock saying our normal capacity to function optimally and detox as we go has been compromised. You have overloaded us. We are up to our eyeballs. Literally, you've heard that expression, like, are you up to your eyeballs and it's brown? Well, that is like, it's actually true. The body has to have detoxification pathways that are kept clear. So just like you get a rock in the road and you can't go forwards and you have to find another pathway, well, at some point, the body has boulders in all of the detoxification pathways because everything is backed up and there is no more avenue to do a plan B or plan C. And this is where the ability to intermittent fast, cellular cleanse, whatever word you want to use, deep cleanse, becomes an absolutely essential tool that is a gift of life. You know, the liver is called the liver as in live. It allows you to live. It's the liver thing. It's the thing in your body that keeps you living. It really, really does. Well, what cleansing does is it's your gift of life. And when you understand what it's really all about, it is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer. And I know for me since 2010, for Joanne since slightly before that, we've been giving this gift to ourselves. I've been giving it to my kids since they were in their early teens in a modified way to allow them to have the nutrient support, the mineral support. And we're going to talk about minerals, the mineral support that allows the body at a cellular level to function. So just like if your roof caves in or you need to knock down a wall to make a home renovation, you are going to have to deal with the structural foundational part of your house to do a renovation. Well, your cells at a cellular level, when you're renovating them, you go to the minerals. That's where the renovations occur, is at a mineral level. So eating, homemade burgers and fries versus McDonald's and burgers and fries, okay, that's great. It's a step one, but it doesn't deal with the renovation. That's more like slapping a coat of paint up on a hole in the wall. It's going to work for short term, but it doesn't really fix the problem. So I'll pass it back to Joanne to get more into exactly what is cellular cleansing. Now that you hopefully understand that it's not a negotiable, it's not a maybe thing, it's not a luxury, it's not an option. If you want to live, not die a little bit every day, but live, then you need to understand that unless your body is in optimum health and everything is balanced and managed, you need to be looking at some version of cellular support to your body. So I'll pass it back to you, Joanne.
Thanks, Lori. Awesome for jumping in there. And this is, the three of us are kind of having a discussion today anyway, just to kind of get these points across because, again, feel free to kind of jump in, guys, but this is so important to understand is that, yes, good health is not an option. And especially right now, we've been just slapped over the head with this crazy situation that we're faced with. And, those who are most susceptible are immune compromised. Let's get real here. Those who are most susceptible to any infection, any disease are those who are immune compromised. And the only way to have a strong immune system is to have a strong functioning body. And absolutely, your detoxification pathways are at the core of that. They do so much work to keep everything running properly. And we were commenting earlier when we were prepping for this call, yes, we definitely want to support any local business that is open. But, doing the constant Uber Eats and whatever, I'm hearing a few people who still aren't cooking at home, or now they're getting tired of cooking at home. And so they're going to the takeout stuff. But you guys are forgetting that good basic nutrition still has to be at the foundation of what you're doing most of the time. Pizza and beer isn't going to hack it. And it's like Lori said, we get to the minerals, we get to the nutrients of what our body needs, 97 different nutrients, enzymes, amino acids, everything. every single day in some level. And man, for me, I want those in optimal levels pretty much every day. I don't want them at 50%. I don't want them at 75%. I want 96 nutrients at 100% in my body. Because here's the other piece about your detoxification pathways that you have to know how to support, is that in order, and when Lori said live, the liver for living, in traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is, because I was just reading an amazing book on women's health and traditional Chinese medicine, liver is the seat of the qi, the body qi, the whole essence of our being. So yes, like be kind to these organs. And that means, yeah, thinking about what's going in the pipe every day. How are you feeding the machine, this beautiful machine, in the best way possible to make sure. So every organ needs a certain combination of those 96 elements every single day to run properly. If you don't have them, that contributes to the underfunctioning. If you start stressing it out, as Lori said, with all the other things that stress out the body, your organs aren't going to be able to function properly. So, okay, so we need to hydrate properly. Number one, very simple. We need to make sure we hydrate beyond. Yay, Cheryl. Yay, Lori. And mine is somewhere else because I ran upstairs to get away from the noise. And, so hydrating. Eating clean. So we know how to eat clean. What does eat clean mean? It means eating whole foods. It means eating unprocessed foods as much as possible, or minimally processed foods, so that they are in their whole state as much as possible. And of course, there's the gamut of that. You can have a processed food that's minimally done. You can have a processed food that's maximally done with all kinds of additives and preservatives and all kinds of stuff. Get smart, start reading labels, looking at foods. And if, you don't know, then ask. You can ask somebody at a store, in a health food store preferably, or when you come on board with us as coaches, you have us as resources. Like, this is gold. Trust me, this is gold. I've been a health practitioner for 23 years, and I've used cleansing and detoxing and cleaning up people's diets as a way of first of all, getting health restored and then maintaining good health for 23 years. So it's not a drop in the bucket. This is, I believe, the best way of living. So when you've got these nutrients and you're missing them, great. Number one, you got to replace them. So this is where support comes in. And absolutely, knife and fork meals are key for that. But gosh dang it, our food just doesn't have the nutrients that it used to. And we're not necessarily, unless you're really well focused on how you're taking in your nutrition every day, you're going to have gaps. Bottom line, you're going to have gaps. So I've been an advocate of superfood nutrition for 23 years, actually more than 23 years, because I was doing it long before I started doing it professionally. Superfood nutrition to me is nutritionally, scientifically formulated foods that are put together, by brilliant formulators who understand herbs, understand minerals, understand vitamins, understand enzymes, put those all together in a great form that I can add to my good diet. It's not going to replace a bad nutritional plan. I don't even like to use the word diet. It should add on to a great nutritional plan, which means it should be a supplement to your good eating plan. So this is where we get into actual, okay, what can this look like? So for, and so adding in, you need the minerals, you need the vitamins, you need the enzymes, you need the amino acids, you need things, adaptogens to help your body deal with stressors of all the things that it's dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And you need these in simple, usable, great tasting forms. Otherwise, what's the point? You're not going to use it. So I feel like I've done a lot of talking, and we're at 20 after already. So I'm just going to let Cheryl unmute herself and just ask Cheryl to share a little bit. She has a background in cleansing and using a cleansing program that has helped her shift. So Cheryl, we were going to talk generally about how you found doing a very focused program and really starting to understand what your body needed to make the shifts that you were working to get it to make.
Yeah, I've been cleansing, detoxing for over 5 years now. It was totally new to me 5 years ago. Never heard. I
Okay.
mean,
And just to clarify, you're not like detoxing every single day for
no,
5 years.
not at all. Not at all. First of all, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Cheryl Andrioli, and I'm actually here in Montreal, Quebec. And this is the beauty of these things with Zoom, is we can connect from people all over the world and have these discussions. And no, I was introduced to cleansing originally as part of a weight management program for me to lose weight. I was close to 300 pounds. And when I was introduced to this system or lifestyle that I'm using, I was very scared. For someone who's 300 pounds, that means they're eating a lot of processed food. They're eating a lot of things that are not healthy, living an unhealthy lifestyle. And to know that I was going to be doing this intermittent fasting cleansing was very scary for me at the beginning, because we're not typically eating on those days. We are taking particular products that help support our liver to do that cleanse. And but I can tell you that when I did start implicating this into my lifestyle, oh my God, what a difference.
Let's talk also specifically about, because our topic today was actually designed around digestive health.
Right.
And cleansing specifically, because there's a lot of general cleansing kind of vernacular out there and articles about cleansing, but to zero in and talk, because I know that you have some specific things to share with regards to what you noticed about digestion and how your body was able to shift because of improving that.
Absolutely. I've had irregularity in my life for almost my entire life. And when I started using our cleansing system and cleansing, once a week, sometimes doing a double cleanse, which is we call a deep cleanse, everything in my body began to shift. I started being more regular, started having a lot less bloating, starting to have more energy, just generally overall health-wise feeling much better. It's been a huge shift in my life. And when this pandemic started, about a month ago or so, I have to be honest that I kind of was resistant at the beginning and was starting to go off the deep end and eating a lot of high fatty foods, high sugar foods, and so on. And all of those things that have been so improved over the years started to shift in the negative direction, where I started having a lot more bloating, a lot of gas, feeling very uncomfortable. And so I started to incorporate using our Cleanse for Life product, not only on a weekly cleanse, but started using it on a daily basis, 2 ounces every night before I go to bed. And I can tell you that that again has now created another great shift. I'm not having the bloating. I'm not having the gas that I was having. I'm feeling much better.
Right. And yeah, I think also you, if you don't mind sharing, you were, the irregularity was quite severe in that you were really only having a bowel movement, like you said, very, very infrequently.
Yeah, I went from being a person that sometimes only went once a week to someone that was going once, twice, sometimes 3 times a day, but for sure once a day, which to me was like jumping over leaps and bounds when you only went onse a week.
And here's the thing that a lot of people are told, oh, that's just normal for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it. That's just you. That's normal for you.
Yeah, exactly. And
Not
it's
normal.
not normal. And there's so many other things that go along with that, because when you are only going once a week, your skin suffers from that, your hair, everything is all connected. We don't realize how much things are connected. And everything you put in your mouth is connected to everything else that's happening in your body, whether it's your skin, your hair, your nails, everything. And so no, it's been a huge, huge shift for me in my health paradigm, and we'll never look back.
Excellent. Well, certainly because, again, when we get on a really focused plan, that of course with us and the system that we all use and coach with and will mention, is that it gives you direction, and it gives you a place of strong foundation so that you start to understand how your own body's functioning, and you start to understand where your own body's imbalances are more, so that also throughout we can make tweaks to your program to help really get you focused and get your body doing what it needs to do, because everybody's body is different. And when it comes to the digestive system, I mean, it is the core of our body, and it starts here and it ends at the other end. And it's actually a hollow tube that runs through the whole center of our body. And our, our small intestine could be a couple football fields long. Like it's a long tube end to end. And so we know that if we have issues with our digestive system, we're not only what we eat, we're what we eat, digest, absorb, assimilate, and utilize. Yeah. Like it has to get to the cell. It has to go from the food that we chew right into actually entering the cell as nourishment and then leaving the cell as waste material, right? Such a fine process. So when we think about cleansing and detoxing, we think, it's, some people do it for weight loss. Some people do it like as a one-off and they go, oh yeah, I did that 5 years ago and that I don't need to do that again. I think we talked about that last week. Well, that's not the case, especially if you've never done it and you're 50 plus years or whatever, and you've got layers and layers of things that your body needs to actually release and get work through. You're not going to do that in one cleanse. Your body's not going to let you do that, because you could get very toxic very quickly and very ill. But also you need to get through those deeper layers. So this is where we go to botanicals, we go to superfood nutrients like aloe vera and burdock root and yellow dock, which is in a formulation that we've used for a long time to assist that natural detox process that the body should be doing anyway. We're using those superfood herbs to add on to that, to allow the body the extra support in order to do that. So, Lori, I'm going to just throw you under the bus here, but not really, because. But how about you go through kind of the 5 pillar areas that we use and focus on when we're incorporating a superfood cleanse program.
Absolutely. And I'll properly introduce myself right now. Lori Clark. I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, where it did snow a little bit every day. The last few days, it's currently sunny out, but here the weather changes on the hour. So my weather is look out the window or step out the door. And like I said earlier when I jumped in, I've been a holistic nutritionist. I've been in the field of kinesiology, health sciences, fitness and nutrition for 30 plus years. So it's not just a job, it's a way of life, it's a lifestyle, but it's a passion. And having gone through periods of my life where I lost my quality of health, I have so much more commitment to educating others, because I used to take for granted. I was super fit. I thought I was super healthy. On the outside, it appeared that way, but I was shortchanging my sleep. I was overloading my adrenals with stress, and I was following diet plans that were deprivation plans. And it takes a long time for a healthy body to get hit and show up. And then when it does, it's really bad news. And so for me, like Cheryl came in, as you heard, when she started looking at cleansing from a weight loss point of view, from a real discomfort, very inflamed, very bloated, really unhealthy digestive processing and assimilation. I came in not to lose weight. I came in for stress management. And that's where my adrenals had been taking a hit for so many years, because I'd been making up a story that I only needed between 1 and 3 hours of sleep every night, and my body was going to be fine. Whatever I gave it, it would wake up and it would be restored and ready to go. And our bodies are always on board with us. So they're like, oh, okay, we're going to go with it. But little by little, I was chipping away at the quality of my health. And it takes a long time for the inside to show up on the outside. So showing up with cystic acne, which I've had, showing up with hair changes, body inflammation, brain fog, like all those external things, bloating, like social distancing buttons. Those are all the external result of a lot of stuff that's been going on for a long, long time. So as Joanne said, when you begin looking at cellular cleansing, you don't just do it once, because your body on a daily basis, just by existing, is taking in a lot of toxicity that needs to be dealt with. That's why we have detoxification pathways. That's why we have 5 of them. We don't just have one. Imagine in a perfect world, those 5 are operating at full capacity all the time, doing the job they need so you can be at full capacity. Well, how many of us live in that perfect world? Nobody. So now with fast food, with stress, are you getting it? With stress. What have we been living with for the last month? You could be eating perfectly for the last month. You have got an overload of stress, whether you think about it or not, no matter how much you don't go on social media, energetically. Like it is, I mean, I take a bath in salt, Epsom salts every day just to take the external energy ick off, because there's just so much uncertainty and confusion energy, which contributes to stress. So now more than ever, looking at supporting the liver, supporting the kidneys, supporting the trillions of cells in your body. That's what the 5 pillars are that we apply with Isagenix. So Isagenix is a company that, there's many companies out there, and the reason I know that all of us, particularly Joanne and I as practitioners, looked at Isagenix is because you're looking at alkaline nutrition. So a body out of balance with anything that doesn't feel good is generally too acidic. Disease exists in acidity. Stress causes acidity. How many of you, when you're under stress, get heartburn or acid reflux? I've heard epic numbers of people having a return of their acid reflux over the last staycation we've been in. Why? Because there's too much stress in their body. So it literally eats you from the inside out. So it is so critical right now to look at managing that. So we start with the minerals, and that's what the Cleanse for Life drink is. It is a beautifully tasting, either peach flavored, or wild berry flavored botanical drink that is just infused with herbs, adaptogens, botanicals, and minerals. And what they do is, it's like giving your organs a spa day. That's all it is. It just floods your organs with the nutrients that it needs to just sit back and go into full repair mode. So you get out of the way on a cleanse day. That's why you try not to eat a lot of food. You stay under 100 calories, and you try and drink your nutrition. And the cleanse drink is actually as satisfying and filling as a nourishing bowl of soup. Like, it's really filling. And when you treat it that way and you tell your body, like when I would have a drink, I would always say either put it in a glass, so it looks like a glass of red wine if it's in the evening, or put it in a glass with water, or like my favorite is to make a water bottle and put a full lime in. But I sit at a table and I have a placemat for my drink, and I honor, just as I would with a full ginormous meal, because it tells my body I am receiving the nutrition for this particular point in the day. And what you're doing is you're giving your body that spa day, but you have to get out of the way. So it's kind of like everything in life. When you get out of the way of yourself, the gold happens, because your soul, your higher self, and all the cells that are you can actually get doing what they want to do, because they got you to step aside for a moment and just get out of the way. And it is a wrapping yourself around that. And so you can go into deep cleanse days, or you can do, as Cheryl mentioned, which is what I've been doing right now, which is because we have so much daily stress, I want to make sure that I am supporting my body at the end of each day. So each night, 2 to 4 ounces of cleanse, and I like it diffused in a water bottle with lime. It is such a relaxing drink. If I have it in the tub before I go to bed, I'm reading a book, I've got the music on, I'm sipping on this beautifully hydrating, nourishing drink before I go to sleep. It is the most satisfying, calming way to gift my body at a cellular level what it needs. So I can gift my tongue what it needs in the day by the food I put in. I can gift my muscles what they need by doing some movement every day, getting out in nature. I can gift my eyes, my ears, my nose, and my lungs what they need every day by getting out in nature. but all the invisible cells that run me, that run you, that run us, that gift comes each night with the cleanse drink. And in the morning, every morning, our other pillar is Ionic Supreme. And we've talked about this before in a number of calls. We call it liquid gold because, again, it is infused with adaptogenic herbs and botanicals that are, and tons and tons and tons of B vitamins. And if you didn't know, B vitamins manage your stress. They are designed to support you in times of stress. So they wake you up. And when you're under stress, you burn through the B vitamins really, really quickly. So you can have an ounce of this drink whenever you're needing that. And so when do you need it? If you are starting to scream at your kids and it's 11 in the morning, if you can't focus on the work you're supposed to be doing and it's 10 in the morning, or if it's 2 in the afternoon and all you want to do is go have a nap instead of showing up like this full of beans and energy, then it's a good indication that your body's burned through the stores of what it had available to use. And it's now kind of searching and finding. It's like in depletion mode. So you give it some more Ionic Supreme. And that's what I love about herbs and botanicals and adaptogens, is that the body uses them as it needs. So the more stress you're under, hello, staycation, the more you're going to need to rely on and take advantage of the gift of these nutrients that you need at a cellular level. And then the less stress you're under, the less uncertainty that you have in your life, the more balanced your life and your nutrition, well, then you can adjust accordingly. And so those are two of the main pillars that I just wanted to hit on, and I'll pass it back to Joanne. Did you want to talk about anything else? Because I think the only other thing I wanted to talk about was sleep, and I can do that right now as well, because it's free and it's a recovery tool like nothing else.
Yeah. Well, just the other pillar that we use for giving our body a rest and a break, and to really help our digestive system and our cellular integration, is on a day when we're not sort of doing the intermittent fast, or we're not doing the full sort of fasting cleanse day. Because don't forget, intermittent fasting can have different meanings. It can be, your intermittent fast between noon and 8. It could be a full day that's you're vacating from food, or it could be a double day where you've just decided not to have food intake. Everyone seems to think that intermittent fasting has this very focused idea of, you have to can't eat till before 10 and then you have to stop at 6, or you can go till noon and then you stop at 8. It actually can do alternate day fasting. There's a 5 and 2 rule that has been around for a very long time. These are not new concepts, everybody. These have been around for a long, long time, decades even. We're just putting new, titles around it, new information around it. But with one pillar is getting in when you're not doing an intermittent fast regime, is to take in your nutrition with some really beautiful, undenatured protein in either, a meal shake form, or added to some other kind of smoothie that you are taking twice a day, in order to give, again, your digestion. When your digestion is not functioning properly, you need to give it a rest in order to let it heal. So in addition to putting the botanicals in, like aloe vera and things like that, which we know are very healing to that type of tissue, we need to give it a break in order to just, not have it work so hard, especially if you've got, dyspepsia and all sort of everything, and any kind of itis and all those kinds of conditions. So taking in like amino acids through good high quality protein in a smoothie type of form, that's absolutely one of the pillars that are implemented in the really good focused plan that we work with. And also some other digestive support things that come in a capsule form. Magnesium oxide, excellent for doing a little bit of bowel cleansing. Peppermint, hyssop, those are, again, herbs that are very soothing. They're in a couple of the formulations that we like to work with. And also apple cider vinegar, green tea, betaine, hydrochloride, which are things to help the stomach fire be there. If we don't have proper stomach function, it's like it stops the rest of the domino effect of the digestive system. And if you don't have a good functioning stomach, that can be one of the reasons why you end up with constipation. And prior to that, if you don't have a good functioning thyroid gland, that can also slow down your digestion, which slows down your stomach function, which stops what we call the digestive cascade. So another reason why all these beautiful adaptogens and all these things are working to balance all these hormonal glands, rich in minerals, supplying the nutrients, and then using these very specific herbs to support some other digestive processes. So I'm just going to show a quick photo of the program that we work with, which is from Isogenics International. And then Lori, I'll let you wrap it up with the sleep point, because that is absolutely key right now. And because people are home, they do have an opportunity to kind of focus in on some of these things, and sleep should be one of them. And it is a perfect time to be doing a cleanse, because we have now gotten through a month of sort of this, okay, and we know that we're not moving anywhere anytime soon, so we can take some time. This is a beautiful way for self-care, is to do this cleanse, is to do this support for your body. So just to briefly show, the meal replacement shake is what I'm talking about with regards to the amino acid benefit, giving your body that good, beautiful protein in an easily digested, easily accessible form. Your body doesn't have to work to get at this nutrition. It basically is going to seep in there. It's got enzymes, it's got extra things in it that it gets digested and assimilated really, really well. This is the adaptogenic blend and B vitamin blend that Lori was mentioning, our liquid gold. So it's also got some ginger in there, which is great for digestion. It's got molasses in there, which is great for mineral content. Molasses is fabulous for mineral content, and natural iron. This is our Cleanse for Life drink. This is the mango powdered version. We do have the liquid berry version. Again, rich in vitamins, rich in aloe vera, burdock root, yellow dock, these amazing herbs that really know how to get in there and do the work. And again, your body in its innate intelligence knows how to utilize these things. These are the 2 digestive support that come in a capsule that I mentioned. And then we have there's chewables, but they're not on that picture. There's also some little snacks that you can use that just have some chromium, which is balancing your blood sugar. Also a really key thing. And this is some extra supportive products to have some healthy snack options in this particular plan. The meal replacement bars are just a great option. Half of that can be a fabulous snack, but it's also nutrient dense. It just happens to come in kind of a more convenient form. And you know, mentally, we have to feel like some of us, most of us, have to feel like we have treats. So these are good, healthy treat options that make us feel like, oh, I still have something that looks like a treat, and it's a beautiful, nourishing bar. Also for chocolate fanatics, and there's many of us out there, I'll say I'm one, but it has to be really good chocolate. So we have a chocolate option here, which is not a candy. It is a superfood supplement. It's got amazing amino acids, which actually that's a kind of a good segue into the sleep piece, because these nutrients in here are really important for brain boosting and really help with that really good brain balancing, which is super important. And talking about some other key hormones like melatonin, where sleep becomes very, very crucial. So here's the thing before I pass it back to Lori, and we'll do a little wrap up at the end, is that this is an option. Go back to the person that invited you to this call. This is an option for focusing on some self-care over the next 30 days of doing a spring cleanse for yourself with a very focused, very well-formulated system that one of us will guide you through when you choose to come on board. So I'm just going to pass it back to Lori, and then we'll do some wrap up at the end.
Perfect. And thanks for showing through that. Food is food, and lifestyle is lifestyle. And I think the key point that Joanne mentioned is when you think of cleansing, there are so many options. So like I have chosen, and it's not every night. It's actually, if I think about it, it's probably half of the week where at night I'll have the cleanse drink before bed. I always have a nutrient dense smoothie. I add in the greens. I'm adding in extra support for my cells. But I'm also choosing during the day, I just got in the habit of having a window where I would eat. So it's a smaller window than normal. So it's not, I might be awake for, let's say if I'm sleeping 8 hours, I'd be awake for 16. Well, I'm not eating during that 16 hours. I might be having fluids, but maybe I'm actually only eating during 8 hours or 10 hours. So this is a really phenomenal way for you to play around with what your body's nourishment needs are, and the ability for you to allow your body, while it is awake, to do some functional work so that it's not always just in survival mode. But where the real repair work comes is during sleep. And I was just listening to a research study day before yesterday, and women actually, all women need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. And boy, oh boy, if you were like me until recently, I sure made up a story that didn't apply to me. I was different. And how many women, especially women who are parents, or have fulfilling busy careers, make up a story that their body doesn't need that much. Well, we all need what is called 2 sleep cycles. Your sleep cycle is either 3.5, 4, or 4.5 hours. And the way you know it is, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to wake up at the end of a sleep cycle. So if you go to bed at 11 and you wake up at 3, which a lot of adults do, then that means your sleep cycle is 4 hours. And so you need to go back and have a second sleep cycle of another 4 hours. So that is how you figure out what your sleep cycle is. And if you are teleworking, an awful lot of companies right now have moved the start of their day till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not needing to get up at 4 or 5 or 6. So don't. Switch up your schedule. And if you're committed to staying in that old schedule and you're hanging on to it tooth and nail, maybe look at, can I get those extra 2 and 3 hours of sleep that used to be spent in rush hour, trying to get to work, trying to get your workout in before work, because you don't have to do that anymore, and let your body heal. Because we've had this onslaught of added stress and uncertainty. There's a lot of adjustment in our life, and the healing happens when we, remember, I guess that's my message today, get out of your own way. When you go to sleep, you get out of your own way and your body rejoices. And it's like, yay, they're asleep. We can go to work. You got to get out of your own way. The power of an afternoon, you can call it a nap. I got in the habit when I was really sick a few years ago of doing an afternoon meditation. So I would always have a cup of tea, and then I would close my eyes. I would put on a meditation, and it could be anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour. And I would wake up so refreshed and rejuvenated. It was like I was beginning the day all over again. And I've kept that habit as much as I can. Now, can you put the pieces of the puzzles of your day together differently? Take the puzzle apart. Take all the pieces apart. And where can you commit to your sleep cycle? So if you go to bed at midnight and wake up at 6, you got to add 2 to 3 hours on. Well, can you go to bed earlier? There is no God-given reason for anybody to have to be up past 11 o'clock at night. Like, there's none. And most of the time people say, well, they're scrolling and trolling. And it's like, well, that's a big clue why you have crappy sleep. But also, what should you be doing in the evening? Well, you need to wind your body down from the spin cycle it's been in all day in order to allow it to drop into that restful sleep. Now, we do have a sleep spray product called melatonin, and liquid melatonin that is sublingual is absolutely amazing for helping your body drop into that deep restorative sleep. So if that is something that you are challenged with, that's something you can do. But that sleep cycle, like if you wake up at 3 in the morning and you're like, well, I wake up and I go to the bathroom and I can't get back to sleep. So what do? You go on your phone in the middle of the night.
Horrible.
Oh, you get yourself some sleep spray, or just tell yourself a story, because everything that is up here is all stories. Either you've allowed in unconsciously or consciously, or you've made up stories. So now I get to make a new story. And the new story is you get up at 3, you go to the bathroom, you're Body doesn't wake up your brain. Don't wake up your brain. Just go back to sleep, land yourself into dreamland, practice your deep breathing, and get yourself that extra added sleep, because the repair of the cells, you give yourself the cleanse drink to give your body at an organ cellular level the tools that it needs to do the repair work. So if someone's coming into your house and they have to fix a hole in the wall, they need a toolbox. They can't just come in and look at the wall and imagine that it's going to get closed. It doesn't work that way. The renovator has to bring the toolbox in, plunk it down, and go to work patching and repairing the wall. Well, the Cleanse for Life drink is the toolbox that your cells need to do those repairs and renovations inside of you. It doesn't, you can go to sleep and sleep helps, because those naturally detoxing pathways that Joanne opened with are always ongoing 24/7. But if they're overloaded, if they're brown to your eyeballs and you're full up, you're overflowing, and there's no access, or there's boulders in the road on all of those pathways, then you've got to go outside and put into your body the external supports, which are those adaptogens, those minerals, those enzymes, those nutrients that the cells need. Has nothing to do with your taste buds. Yes, it tastes great, but really we're talking, what do your cells need so that they can do that repair and renovation work? So the power of sleep. And a little known side bonus, anybody who is looking to drop some weight, whether it's inflammatory or social distancing, quarantine 15, you start sleeping a minimum 8 hours a night consistently. That means every night you will drop weight, because your body holds on to the inflammation, because when it's under stress, it's under attack, it's in survival mode, it's not letting go of anything. It's like, there's a bear attacking me, talk to me later. So your body is frozen in time in that state of bloatedness. You need to give it the sleep so that it calms itself down, so that it realizes the bear's not attacking. Oh, now we can let go of this, what we held on to, because we were in fight, flight, freeze mode. So sleep has so many benefits: mental clarity, digestive clarity, elimination regularity, and stress management and weight loss. And it's free. And it's free. So I will close with that, and I'll pass it back to Joanne to let you know where you can find this information, where we're going to post it. And happy middle of April.
Yeah, it is. It's middle of April. Thanks, Lori. I love that analogy. I'm going to steal that, the repair wall thing, because I love house and car analogies. That works. So yes, the recorded link will be back in the event page. I'll put the recording there after this, and also we'll be posting it in our Love Your Body group and a few other places that you can access the recording. And if you have other questions, you can certainly reach out to us, or any of us, or get back to the person that maybe shared the link with you. And we do have a group challenge that I don't like to even use the word challenge. It's just a group gathering to help everybody get focused and reset. Yes, we will be focusing on using the Isogenics program to support us during a cleansing time, to do that extracellular work. That's going to start April 27th. So you've got some time to kind of think about a plan, or maybe put some action steps into place, get in touch with somebody and get a program set up. We'd love to have you join us. And from that, we'll be here next week again. We'll be talking about more. We could just go on and on. So we'll just keep it to what we have today, and we'll come up with some more next week. And have a beautiful rest of the week and a beautiful weekend. And we'll see you again.
Bye.